So, let's dive into this idea. Self-interest is not selfish in relationships. It's like, you know, caring for your own desires, even as you care for your
Exactly.
partner.
Right. It's such an interesting twist. We're so used to thinking selflessness is always neat, but then you realize that if someone's always deferring, they might be missing out on sharing who they really are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. When a partner always gives in, whether it be on movie choices or even larger decisions, it might seem kind on the surface.
Yep,
But over
true.
time, that constant yes might actually build a wall.
That's a good point. It's like, at first you enjoy the generosity, but soon enough, you might wonder if you're ever really hearing them express what they, deeply want.
Exactly. And the notion here is that while being kind and selfless is prized, it can hinder authentic connection. You know, if you never get to understand whether they like Italian or Mexican food, can you really know them?
Definitely. And it goes even further. In extreme cases, this constant selflessness could feel like stonewalling. It reminds me of that example where one partner always says, "I'll go wherever you want." It sounds supportive until you realize they might be avoiding engaging on deeper issues.
Right. I mean, think about that dialogue where Jackie asks, "What would be your perfect getaway?" And Jim just keeps saying he's happy with anything. That's a classic case of disengagement, isn't
Yeah,
it?
spot on. But here's something I actually, slightly challenge. Isn't some selflessness necessary? I mean, in a healthy relationship, shouldn't there be room for both kindness and, well, your own interests?
Absolutely, and that's the nuance here. It's not about abandoning generosity. It's about balancing that generosity with sharing your true opinions and desires. It's like building a bridge that allows both partners to cross over and truly connect.
I see what you mean. So the idea isn't to stop caring for your partner's feelings at all, but rather to invite them to share a bit more of their inner world, right?
Exactly. And that's where the suggestions from Dr. Gottman really come in. The advice is to ask open-ended questions to get your partner talking about their real preferences. Instead of the simple yes or no questions, you want to ask, say, "What would you like to do for dinner tonight?" That way, they're given an opportunity to share.
Yeah, I like that. It's like, instead of shoving them into a box with a binary choice, you're opening up a whole conversation space. And that can lead to more, authentic intimacy.
Precisely. And also, expressing empathy plays an important role. Once they start opening up, say, even about small things like preferring Italian over Mexican, you can validate that by saying, "I totally understand that. I feel like sometimes you get a better experience when you try something new."
That's really validating. It definitely is. But here's the thing. What if the partner never switches gears from their selfless routine? Like, what if they're just not used to asserting their own opinions?
That's a crucial challenge. And honestly, it requires patience and engaging in more intentional reciprocal communication. It might take baby steps. You don't just flip a switch overnight.
True. Yeah, and maybe if one partner keeps gently challenging the status quo over time, the other might start to share more.
Exactly. In fact, the three basic rules that Dr. Gottman highlights are all about making that deeper connection. First, putting feelings into words. Second, asking open-ended questions. And third, expressing empathy. It's a sort of recipe for building intimacy over time.
I love that. You know, it reminds me of when you're trying to get to know someone new. You wouldn't just ask, "Do you like movies?" But rather, "What's the best movie you've seen lately?" That little shift changes the whole game.
Absolutely. It's like turning a light on in a dark room. Suddenly you see details that were there all along, but had been hidden away. Critical details like personal tastes, values, and hopes.
Right, exactly. And I guess that's where the idea of self-interest fits in too. People have interests, quirks, and opinions that deserve to be heard without being, labeled as selfish.
Yes, indeed. Showing that you value not just your partner's needs, but also their unique perspective is essential. Because if you only ever hear yes and nothing more, then over time, you lose that genuine connection.
Absolutely. But, one might argue that sometimes constant agreement is just a sign of compatibility. What would you say to that?
That's a fair point, but I'd respectfully challenge it. Constant, effortless agreement might actually mask underlying issues. If a partner's selfless behavior stems from fear of conflict, or worse, the desire to avoid a deeper engagement, then that's not really compatibility. It's a kind of silence that can be counterproductive in the long run.
Yeah, I agree with that. So the trick is in making sure that selflessness doesn't turn into a barrier to connection. Instead, it should be balanced with vulnerability and honest sharing.
Exactly. And it's like, nurturing a relationship is about growing together. Each time you ask an open-ended question or express empathy, you're planting a seed for more meaningful interactions.
Exactly. I also find it cool how this approach not only deepens intimacy, but also opens the door for both partners to actually explore their own needs. It's kind of like a dance where both individuals lead sometimes and follow at others, right?
Yes, that's a wonderful way to put it. It's a dance of balancing the needs to give with the needs to receive, and the importance of being true to yourself
Right,
while also
absolutely.
caring for your partner.
So, in practical terms, what would be a good exercise for a couple to try?
Well, one idea is to set aside a little time daily, maybe just over dinner, where they deliberately ask one another open-ended questions. Instead of the routine, "Did you have a good day?" Try, "What was the best part of your day and why?" That can really spark deeper conversation.
That sounds really engaging. And I guess by doing that consistently, a partner who normally just defers might start expressing some of their unique tastes and opinions.
Exactly. And with empathy, you show them that their thoughts are valid. When you receive an answer, rather than just nodding silently, you reflect back something like, "I see why that matters to you." That small step can invite more honest exchanges over time.
Yeah, I love that. It's interesting because while we often celebrate selflessness as a virtue, this perspective really nuances that idea, showing that a bit of self-interest is actually healthy.
Absolutely. It reinforces that being true to your own self isn't selfish. It's an essential part of any thriving relationship. Plus, it creates space for both people to feel seen and understood.
Exactly. It's all about balance. I also think it's worth noting that this kind of shift isn't immediate. Change takes time, and couples might have to work through some discomfort to get to that point.
Definitely. It's like learning a new skill. Maybe not as dramatic as switching from always saying yes to asking, "What do you truly think?" But small, persistent nudges in that direction can gradually transform the relationship dynamic.
Right, for sure. And it's fascinating how something as simple as rephrasing a question can lead to such a profound change in connection.
Yeah, it's like unlocking a door you didn't even know was closed. Suddenly, you're welcoming a more enriched conversation, and that can only benefit the relationship.
Spot on. To wrap it up, it seems that embracing self-interest as a natural part of our authentic selves isn't just healthy individual behavior. It's necessary for building a more genuine, balanced connection with our partners.
Exactly. And by challenging the notion that selflessness is the ultimate goal, we invite a more nuanced, vibrant, and, real version of intimacy into our lives.
Absolutely, couldn't have said it better. This conversation definitely highlights that sometimes a little self-interest can go a long way in nurturing a relationship that's deeply connected and honest.